Millions of Americans preparing for their post-turkey pat-downs right now as they get ready to fly home. Now, a new plan to fix the fiasco these searches are causing. Pay TSA agents more. Jonas, will that really work?
It'll work and it's fair. I'll tell you why. It's two reasons. First of all, this job has changed now that everybody's demanding a pat-down. It's a really awful thing to make the government workers have to do when they got these scanners and beepers and all this other stuff. Number one. Number two, I spent a little time on the USA government hiring site. I didn't look at the pizza boxes where they're also hiring TSA workers. But these TSA workers make less money than park rangers and post office workers. You know, do we think this job is important? Do we think this front line of keeping the bombs off the plane is worth more than a postal worker or a park ranger? Because if so, we need to pay them more than those two people. And also, again, because the job stinks.
They are advertising on pizza boxes, Toby. Now, nobody flies more than you. What do you think? Should we pay them more?
Oh, my gosh. First off, let's not pay them more, but let's do something really important. Let's take a system that's worked for 20 years. We've had zero problems. It's called El Al, and it's called Israeli system. Israeli system would get rid of 75% of these TSA guys, but they would hire some very expensive people that actually keep people, the bad people, from even getting near the airport. It's called profiling. It's called intelligence. It's worked actually for 32 years in Israel. It would work fabulously here, and we should pay the intelligence people big money.
Caroline, they have far fewer flights, obviously, in Israel than we do, but the system does work there. You still think paying TSA agents, government workers more would make this whole system work a lot better?
Well, Brenda, I think at this point, TSA has made such a massive fumble that they have to pay people, their employees, more on the front line because they're receiving so much flack from travelers. I mean, I'm very opposed to either the option of nudity or groping. I think it's a violation of civil liberties. I think it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. And unfortunately, 2/3 of Americans think it's okay, but the 3% who are actually stopping the system are causing people to be very disgruntled. So I think TSA really has no option at this point but to pay their folks more because they're receiving abuse from us, the disgruntled travelers.
Eric, you've actually been patted down. What do you think?
I have been. First of all, it's a horrible experience. Here's what I think you need to do, and what a surprise the liberals think we should just pay people more and that'll fix the problem. Here's what we should do. Privatize it. Fire them all. Let independent companies come in, take it over, and then do this. Aggressive profiling, not just behavioral profiling, cultural profiling as well. Get the airways safe again. By the way, there was a manual that was put out this week saying we're going after America by Al-Qaeda. We're going after America through the airlines. Get rid of all the TSA agents. Privatize it.
Gary B., I bet you agree with that one.
I do, as a matter of fact. I'll come back to that point in a second. I'm going to build on what Jonas says. You know, Jonas is like, oh, my gosh, they're paid less than park rangers. Well, go through one of those lines like, you know, any one of us here has and say, my gosh, you know, we showed it on the screen. The average TSA employee makes $40,000 a year. You think that's a $40,000 a year job? And that's the average. You know that they all the way up in the pay range, they can make up to $175,000 a year. To me, that seems a lot to pat people down and say, you go through, you don't go through. Doesn't seem like that difficult a job. I'm going to be honest with you.
Does that include their pension?
If you had to drive to an airport every day as your job.
I agree with Eric.
Hold on.
If the goal is to attract quality people, let private firms do what they do it in San Francisco already.
Okay.
The airports can opt out and opt to hire private firms. Let's not just give government employees more money.
It is tried in several places in the United States. But, Jonas, what do you say about that $175K?
Go to the site. There are dozens of listings of jobs at $29,000 to start at this kind of work.
That's entry level, yes.
But it is an entry level job. Those 106-figure jobs you're quoting are senior jobs.
I pulled up the pay grid.
29 grand. To have to get headbutted by people, have to touch all these people. They don't want to do this.
Oh, my gosh, Jonas,
and again,
you think that's a difficult job,
do you
seriously?
do you think it's more important than park rangers to America?
No.
You don't? Oh, well, there we go.
No,
because I don't remember you guys getting so mad when they made the government take over this job, because it was a private sector job. Back when we were attacked, it was a private sector job. They didn't do a very good job, is the bottom line.
What makes us so mad is the idea that, all right, it's not working, so my philosophy is if we paid the same people more, we would get more out of them. Now, anybody in an actual business would know that that's insane. And in fact, you'd get less work. People go like, I'm making more money not doing anything.
To get better people, first of all, and we actually
try
have
to
to
fire
spend
these people.
a lot of money on. We spend a lot of money on very sophisticated computer equipment to see bombs of people, but people don't like that, so we have to do this, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, guys.